Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this one has been a long time coming. I am thrilled about the new bike we have here in the shop. This is Aprilia's RS660 in the best colorway. The neon yellow, red wheels, ketchup and mustard, McDonald's colorway, standout cop magnet as it were. I am thrilled about this motorcycle, guys, and I'm more thrilled about it because this is a giveaway motorcycle. Yes, as far as I know, I'm the only person in the known universe who is giving away an Aprilia RS660. This is our new intermediate bike giveaway. You guys have seen our MT-09 that we're doing. This is the bike that's going to be replacing the Yamaha MT-09 in our intermediate line of motorcycle giveaways. So this bike sweepstakes is actually gonna start on March 29th, but if you go to yammie.co and you sign up for our membership there, you'll automatically get entered to win this motorcycle. You can also get merch and get access to everything else on our website down there. Go to yammie.co, go to yammie.merch.com, get entered to win this machine. You are not gonna wanna miss it. We're gonna have tons of videos coming out about this thing, so you're definitely not gonna miss it. I won't allow you to miss it. So cue the string music, cue the classical music. Let us bathe in the beauty of this yellow Italian machine. All right, so back in 2018, quite a long time ago at this point, I went to the EICMA show in Milan in Italy, and I saw the first prototype version of the RS660 back there. And it was a very cool bike. It was Aprilia's first foray into the middleweight section after quite some time being away from it. A first kind of like super sport-esque motorcycle, but you know, more details started coming out, and it seemed like the design brief and what Aprilia was going for with this motorcycle was actually very, very different than a traditional 600 Super Sport or a traditional 650 fully fared bike. This motorcycle sits somewhere in between a Ninja 650 and a Yamaha R6. You can tell by the horsepower, by the ergonomics, and the overall general ethos of the bike. But I'll tell you guys this right now because I've already taken this thing out for a quick spin, and my first impression full ride will be coming tomorrow. But it is very good and very different and a much needed shot in the arm for this segment of motorcycles. So what makes it so special? Well, this thing is powered by a 660cc parallel twin. It's got a 270-degree crank, so that's the same setup as a Yamaha MT-07. However, the engine is way more hopped up than an MT-07. This thing makes about 100 horsepower, 95 to 100, somewhere around there, and it just has this really nice kind of punchy twin-like quality, V-twin-esque character to it. Upon my first impression ride of it, I kind of felt like it was a baby Panigale V2, which is very high praise. The ergonomics package, as I will show you guys in this B-roll clip of me sitting on the motorcycle, it's really amenable. You know, it's not a super sport motorcycle. However, it is fully fared and it's got these kind of raised clip-ons. It's a very neutral and nice position to sit in. You're not super hunched over. You're not attacking the motorcycle. However, it makes a fantastic daily rider kind of bike. The specifications on this motorcycle are also very high as well. You've got Brembo brakes, you've got all the electronics you could want, which is a big deal for this category of bike. This thing cost right around the $11,000 mark, and you're getting wheelie control, traction control, slide control, all kinds of great electronics packages featured on this bike. The other big thing for this thing is too, it features fully adjustable suspension front and rear, which is really great. And it's just a really, really cool little bike. This bike to me is the pinnacle, the perfect intermediate motorcycle. It's the reason why we started this intermediate bike giveaway thing is because, you know, there's lots of bikes that are either way too powerful or crazy for someone jumping off of their first bike, and there's some bikes that are probably good enough for a beginner. Here's the thing I'm thinking about. An MT-07, for example, is a great intermediate bike, right? But it could also be a great first bike as well in the hands of a more mature rider. Something like the ZH2 is clearly expert level. It's way too powerful for entry or intermediate riders. This bike, in my opinion, makes probably the best second motorcycle you could get. It's really quite a bit of a sweetheart, and it's just a really cool looking bike. So now I'm gonna grab the camera, we're gonna grab some exhaust clips of this thing, we're gonna take a closer look at it, and then be sure to check out my first impression ride tomorrow as well. So let's take a closer look at the Aprilia. All right, guys, taking a closer look at the Aprilia here. The first thing you'll notice is just how stinking yellow this thing is. It's really yellow, and it kind of reminds me of Triumph's old acid green colorway they had back in the day. It's very reminiscent to that, and it really pops. This is also the only RS660 you can get that has matching wheels. The other colorways have mismatched color wheels, and I do think it's a cool touch, but I do really prefer having wheels to be the same color. It kind of bothered me. The other ones were different colored. So looking at this bike over here, we can take a look here up at the front. We can see the Brembo brakes right there, looking sharp. This is obviously not a top-of-the-line Stylema or anything like that, but it's still a radial-mounted dual-disc Brembo, which is not something you normally see in the middleweight category. You're not going to see a brake setup like this on an MT-07. You're not going to see it on a Ninja 650. You really only see this on super sports and leader bikes and naked bikes and that sort of thing. Really nicely sized master cylinder as well. I was actually quite impressed with that. This reminds me a lot of the stock brake setup that I had on my 675R before I swapped over to the RCS19. As I mentioned, fully adjustable suspension up at the front. Rebound and compression handled separately, which is cool. I like this little Aprilia logo right there too. One side note is, I don't know if it's because this is a brand spanking new motorcycle, but this thing has so many warning stickers on it, more than I've ever seen on any other bike, really, which is quite silly. Really pretty beautiful, you know, fit and finish on this thing. I'm really impressed with it. One thing you'll notice as well is in the cockpit view here, you have these kind of aero-inspired, MotoGP-inspired little fins and ducts right there. So when you sit aboard the machine, you get a really kind of narrow sense of it. You sense that there's not much there, which is a really great feeling when you're on the bike. The saddle sits really narrow, which is great. It's a compact engine, a parallel twin, so it sits really narrow between the legs. Quick shifter up and down as well, which is another feature that you don't see a lot of in the middleweight category. I can't think of any middleweight in this price point that has quick shifter up and down. Maybe the Duke 890, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, this thing is just super cool, man. It's a really sweet machine. As we look here, take a closer look at the engine. This 660cc parallel twin, which is half of the RS-V4's engine, but then stroked out a little bit because obviously 660 times 2 is more than the 1077 that you get in the V4. But this is basically half of the V4's engine, and it sounds really awesome. It's a really sweet package. Really compact exhaust down here, which is great. You got the whole bread box just all sorted right there. We're definitely going to try to find some sort of exhaust solution for this bike, but as of right now, it's kind of hard to find parts for it because it is so brand new. Double-sided swing arm, so you're not dealing with any exotic single-sided swing arm. That would have been a pretty tough brief to fit at this price point. Really cool frame on this thing. Totally bespoke, brand new for Aprilia, which is really cool. The rear suspension here is kind of unique. It doesn't have a linkage, so it's directly bolted to the swing arm right there. So it's not a linkage suspension. You can see there's lots of space in this motorcycle. It is not a very heavy motorcycle. It weighs just a skosh over 400 pounds, if I remember correctly, or a little under 400 pounds, something like that. You gotta love the little Italian decal right there, little flag. You got the Aprilia B Eraser thing right there. Very cool. Let's flip the ignition here. You can take a look at the dash and all that, because that is a cool feature on this bike. So as I mentioned, full APRC electronics, all the crazy doodads, TFT dash here. It's all very neat. One thing I will say is, you know, upon taking delivery and kind of living with this thing a little bit and using it a little bit, it was pretty difficult to figure out how to use all of the electronics and how to get into the menus and all that. It's not very intuitive in that sense, but you know, all bikes nowadays are all, you know, bespoke and different. You never know how to figure them out one way or another. So I'm gonna straddle aboard the RS660 here. But before we do, actually, let's take a look. Front headlight assembly. That looks nice, huh? It kind of reminds me of, there's a Hyundai model that kind of looks like that, which is a bit unfortunate. But anyways, straddling aboard here on the RS660, you have two different modes or whatever. So you have race mode and road mode, but basically you can hit this and you can toggle it into a bunch of different parameters. You can adjust the individual mode to fit whatever you want. You change the, disabled wheelie control, so shows you there what you're trying to go for, right? So looking through here, you can change your engine map for more power, your engine brake, your traction control, your wheelie control, your ABS. The thing's got cruise control. It's got all kinds of different modes. You can go in here, go into vehicle, change the mode to road or race. Boom. You're in race mode. Hold on, oh my God. How do I change this? Race mode, there we go. The shift light comes on at a certain level. So many changes you can do to this thing, man. It's kind of nuts. Yeah, let's just keep it in race mode here for all the sweet challenges we're gonna do. This is such a cool little bike, man. So we're gonna really have fun with the Aprilia here, and let's wrap up this video, shall we? All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this informal first look at the Aprilia RS660 we're gonna be doing as a giveaway bike. I'm thrilled about this thing. I can already tell you it's gonna be a very fun and interesting motorcycle. It's brand new. Not many people know much about these things. We're gonna get it out on track, do a bunch of testing with it, commute with it, learn it, understand it, and then ultimately give it away. So just reiterating here, this is a giveaway motorcycle. Go to yammie.co, find out how you can get entered to win. March 29th is the official date that the sweepstakes starts, but you can go ahead and get entered right now before we get started with it. Get your pre-entries in, just get started, get rolling on it. And yeah, this thing's gonna be a ton of fun. So we'll catch you tomorrow for the first ride and impression. That's gonna be a big detailed first ride and first feelings on the bike, and we'll see you then. And just like that, when you least expect it, Cowboy Aim is back at it once again. Why don't you click this video right here, you let me know what you think of it, okay? Leave me a nice comment, subscribe to the channel, leave me a like, do all those nice things, and y'all have yourselves a good day.